honored to be just me and another gentleman. We were on a two-person panel in front of the Direct Marketing Association. And they're struggling with the same aspects that we're all struggling with in terms of understanding how are we using this new media of blogs and podcasts and social media, online communities, stuff that we hear about like YouTube and Craigslist and Facebook and MySpace, and is it really relevant for our clients? Is it really relevant for what we're doing as an expertise? How are we going to use it within the compliance regulations? They too, as direct marketing experts, are struggling with that, so they invited me to start addressing them as how they can take part of direct marketing. And I did a 1-hour lecture yesterday, and it's on video, and it'll be available on Google Video very quickly, of how it is we can actually start taking that. In addition to that video that I produced yesterday, I have an audiobook called Web Marketing 2.0, which means if you're looking for how to introduce yourself into this online world of what we call Web 2.0, you can understand about that. We can get together individually and I can kind of school you on some aspects of what that is. There's still a lot of flux happening in terms of how you can get it approved in terms of what you're posting online. And of course we can talk about that in terms of how that actually happens. But the bottom line is these are technologies that are open to you. They're already compliance approved articles and content available to you that you're going to be able to adapt to this new culture. These new ways that may sound very young and maybe you're attracting more of an older crowd, either business owners or high net worth individuals, a variety of folks, it may seem outside of the world. Obviously a lot of older folks may not be chatting through MySpace. That may make sense. But nevertheless, they're going to be checking you out and they're going to be asking for your brochure, they're going to want to see your website. They might start Googling your name. They, regardless, might start Googling some of the concepts that you throw out there. If you start talking about whole life, for example, they might start going on the internet and start reading the bathroom wall about what the internet has to say about it. And unless you're there representing yourself and what you know as being the truth, then your truth and your message and your personal brand is going to be lost in a lot of the misconceptions out there on the internet. And a variety of different products can be put into that. So it's not necessarily is the client the right demographic of the MySpace generation, but how are they using the internet to legitimize and substantiate what you're presenting to them? Does that make sense? So I want to go to the next worksheet and go a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of what it means to develop a personal brand and how we can actually use something that I talk about today, literally today, if not tomorrow or after the weekend. The next worksheet right there, I wanted to present, I'll take maybe a couple of minutes on, called the Personal Brand Business Model. The reason I brought it, very often I don't talk about the Personal Brand Business Model because it tends to be pretty high level and it's, I don't want to say theoretical, to translate into practice, but it's taking a long-term view of things. And very often people are very interested in filling up their sales funnel today and generating the leads, the referrals, and the prospects today and closing on the sale by the end of the month and doing what we need to do to bring the money in. And that's fair and good, but I've heard a lot of my clients start to ask me about their overall business model and their practice and how it is going to grow. And is there a method to this madness, or am I just there helping them publicize what they do and just market to themselves? Marketing your personal brand is only the first step. There is an overall game plan here. This is an adapted model of a 6P business model that my dad and I developed actually a number of years ago for a traditional business. I've adapted it to those of us who consider themselves self-employed. And we're all self-employed in one way or another here. We may fit together as a wonderful team and use common infrastructure, but we need to regard ourselves as in business for ourselves, just not by ourselves. Does that make sense? So if you see here that first step, which is really the gray bar even before the first step, before the green box, is really very often where many of us are. We're not necessarily a personal brand, we're not necessarily memorable. It's hard for people to categorize us, to introduce us. We may not have the clever nicknames and the catchphrases associated with us. Then again, we may, and so you may fit into some of the other boxes depending on where you are. But this is a standard model that everybody who in one way or another is a celebrity in their field based upon their expertise follows. You can think of all the famous names from musicians to artists to financial advisors, insurance professionals who may be on TV that you can imagine. All the professionals that you hear in a variety of industries, from legal to accounting to real estate, all follow this model. It's a very standard model. Unfortunately, it's never really been brought out in such a simple way. And what I found is I needed to think of my own practice model and how I'm growing my own practice and my own personal brand. And this is what I follow and this is what I help my clients follow. It's a very simple concept. On the x-axis, which is the horizontal, is really the personality leverage. In the beginning, you're going to be leveraging your personal personality, your own personality a lot. Over a period of time, you're going to be helping others leverage theirs as you expand yourself if you care to bring on other associates. The y-axis, the vertical, is the life of your practice, the life of your business. What's great about our line of work is that we're able to develop business that can be ongoing. It's ongoing streams of income for ourselves. And we're able to, I'm thankful to able to help my clients develop that as well. So taking a very simple diagram right there, the first level that you're going to be working on is your PR, your personal reputation. PR stands for a lot of things out in the marketplace, and I consider it as a catch-all, your personal reputation. How are you branding your personal reputation? Very simple, W-A-T-E-R-S. What is W-A-T-E-R-S? It's on that other worksheet. It's on the top. So that marketing action plan is going to be with your word of mouth, your advertising, your telephone base, your email base, your regular mail, your search base, your street marketing, orders, right there. How we translate that for you, we're going to talk about in a moment. The next step as we develop your personal reputation, you need to start thinking about, especially nowadays, about your knowledge products. Your knowledge products are essential nowadays because we're entering what we call the knowledge era, the knowledge age. I'm sure many of us have heard that phrase, right? That we're in the information age, entering the knowledge age. Right? We've heard about that? What does that knowledge age mean? Does anyone want to chime in? What does the knowledge age mean as opposed to the industrial age and things of that nature? Anyway, what does the knowledge age mean? Yeah.
Information right now is so available to everybody.
Yep.
I'm sure all of us have had the experience of saying, oh, like, term.
Yep.
All of a sudden, someone's Googled, well, there's 17 companies that you quoted that are cheaper, but knowledge is available so quickly and not necessarily correctly.
Yep. We used to be in the industrial age where it was about processing, manufacturing out of raw materials. We have quickly entered the information age, the internet age, where knowledge and information is so ubiquitous and so accessible, we're practically getting overwhelmed between our email inbox, our cell phone, text messages, the messages on our BlackBerry. Sooner than later, you're going to get into the RSS world as well, which is yet another type of inbox for you to check. So if you think you're getting inundated with spam now, wait until text message spam becomes very popular, which will be in the next year, and then RSS spam is going to be just as worse. So you haven't seen anything yet. Information overload has just begun. However, there's a safe way of handling it. There's a sane way of handling it, and I'll talk a little bit about that right now. You've got to get into the game of knowledge creation. The difference between the industrial age and even the information age is that we're used to being consumers of knowledge. We used to be the learners of knowledge. So we consume knowledge, and then those of us who really understood it and those of us who are successful in the room know that it's not just about consuming knowledge, but also distributing knowledge, meaning that we're going to take that knowledge and we're going to give it to our clients, we're going to give it to our prospects, we're going to give it to our centers of influence so that they're helping to propagate this expertise on our behalf. That's what we've been doing for the past couple of decades. Knowledge transfer. We're entering into the age now when the majority of us have access to technologies to create knowledge, to be the experts, to create content, to be the people that are creating audiobooks, video books, print books, blogs, podcasts, videocasts. These are coming at an enormous rate, and it's becoming at a normal, everyday pace. No longer is creating a video a ridiculous experience. I can set up a portable video on a tripod right there, have a wireless mic right now, and create a video cast right here. If this room had wireless internet like it did yesterday, I could be streaming this live on the internet to the world and be live marketing over the World Wide Web. I have to check with compliance, etc., and make sure it's all right. But outside of all those regulations, you can do it. More importantly, people are doing it. Even more importantly, your colleagues, your peers, your competitors are doing it already. And they're accessing and using real-world technologies in a clever way to market and brand themselves. You guys are creating and giving away knowledge on a day-to-day basis anyway. You're meeting with your clients, your prospects, your centers of influence on a day-to-day basis, at least you should be day-to-day basis. And you're doing this anyway. It's now about bottling your message, crafting your message, honing your message, and then creating knowledge products out of it. What do knowledge products do? It does two things. Number one, you get paid for your marketing. What do I mean by a knowledge product? I mean an audio CD, an audio book with your expertise. I mean a print book.